Welcome into a Delmarva Sports Insider special. It is the 2018 Governor's Challenge Selection Show.
That's right. We're unveiling all the great players and matchups in the field of this year's Governor's Challenge.
That's exactly right. I'm Trayvon Miles alongside Jeff Harris. And tonight's special guest helping us out, Marcus Helton, editor-in-chief of WMDT.com. Marcus is going to help us out with some of the players and the teams we might not be all that familiar with here on the Eastern Shore. So thank you for being here tonight.
No, always good to be back there.
Yes.
We got a lot of matchups to get to, but not to waste any more time, we're going to jump right into our first set of brackets. Standing by at the wall with our first group of showcase games is Jonah Restuccio.
Thanks, Jeff. Look at this. It's been such a long time coming to unveil our 29 DMV Elite Showcase games. We're going to start on December 26th. Smyrna, they open up things against St. Peter's from New York. St. George's in Nishan Highland, well, they follow things up against Archbishop Carroll. Then this will be a big one. Liberty Heights and Juwan Gary, he's headed to Alabama. They face off against Wings, a powerhouse from New York State. And now to the 27th, Wings matches up against Olympic from North Carolina, and then Father Henry Carr coming down from the Great White North to take on Heights. 5 o'clock, big-time Philly school, Newman Goretti making the trip for Gilman. And then over on Court 2, Legacy. They were here last year, but let me tell you, I think they're even better this year. They get Virginia Academy. Final game of the night, Y-High, right here in Salisbury. They draw Elizabeth from New Jersey. And then Highland and St. George's, they get a 4A Maryland favorite in Dulaney. 8:30 at the Civic Center. Lincoln from Brooklyn. Yes, the same Lincoln that Sebastian Telfair, Stephon Marbury, and Lance Stevenson went to. They get Lincoln, Georgia. And, well, we'll talk about them in a little bit. Then wrapping things up at the Civic Center, Spire from Ohio, arguably one of the best teams in the field, gets Central Point from the Sunshine State. Over at Maryland Eastern Shore that night, Virginia's Potomac and St. Peter's go at 6:45, and then Archbishop Carroll from D.C. and Lincoln from Pennsylvania. Back over to the desk.
Thanks, Jonah. Some big-time matchups to start in that one, including one name that's going to stand out to us, Nashawn Bones Highland. This is a kid that gave Stephen Decatur all kinds of trouble and blues last year in the tournament. He's becoming an urban legend in the circles of Wilmington and Philadelphia area. What are we expecting to see out of Bones this year?
Well, you know, in addition to the obvious talent that he displayed here last year, I mean, he's a kid everybody's rooting for.
Yeah.
I mean, most people know about the family tragedy he suffered last year, tragic house fire.
Yeah.
Suffered an injury in that kept him out of, you know, AAU action all spring and summer. So I'm really looking forward to seeing him back on the floor and healthy again.
Yeah, exactly. You know, we saw Highland actually going off against Stephen Decatur.
Yeah.
So even though it wasn't one of our local teams, it, you know, definitely put on display his talent. And the only thing I'm going to say to you, looking right into the camera, I know you're warm on Temple. So after this year's showcase, we need you to come to the Temple Owls, guys.
This is some kind of violation.
Yeah. But we're sticking with the local scene. I'm transitioning now. Now, the Smyrna Eagles, what a team entering the tournament this year, guys. Now, Smyrna, of course, coming off the DIAA state championship loss to St. Elizabeth, but they do return some big pieces from last year, including Jakir Hampton and Nishawn Sylvester. Those, well, actually, they lose Nalik Beasley Johnson. We learned about that earlier this week to transfer, so that's a big loss on both ends of the court for Smyrna. Very interested to see how they fare in the showcase games this year. Now for our second set of DMV Elite Showcase games, Jonah is standing by with more.
Second set, and I'd argue even some more action. This is my game to watch during this Governor's Challenge. Lincoln and Spire. The desk crew will hit on why in a little bit, but both teams are loaded with Power 5 conference talent top to bottom. And then St. Andrews, Jeff, you have Nishawn Highland, but now my favorite player in the tournament, Syracuse commit Bryson Godine. They get Central Point led by Victor Rosa, whose recruitment is heating up. 5 o'clock, Dulaney and Newman Goretti on Court 1 with Brooklyn Collegiate and Legacy on Court 2. Nassim Khalid, the Florida State commit, will guide the South Carolina Purple and Gold. And we cannot forget about Abraham Lincoln from New York and Murray from D.C., who go at it on Court 2 at 6:45. More games on the 28th. Lincoln from Pennsylvania and Boys Latin are over on Court 2. And then down to Maryland Eastern Shore, Gilman and Wings tip off at 3:15. Then Virginia Academy and Father Henry Carr from Canada. And the day wraps up with Smyrna against Olympic. Final day of action, Spire and St. Andrews, two very well-coached and skilled teams at 3:15 on Court 1. Then a battle of the Lincolns from New York and PA. In Y-High, they return at 6:45 drawing Olympic. While that's on Court 1, Elizabeth and Gilman will hit Court 2. At 8:30 at the Civic Center, Brooklyn Collegiate, who handed Lincoln, Georgia a rare loss last year, they get a rematch. And on Court 2, Boys Latin, and Murray. Then down at Maryland Eastern Shore, Henry Carr and Central Point wrap up the action. Whew, I never thought it would end. A lot we just got through. Wrapping a bow on top of it, guys.
Thanks, Jonah. That Lincoln, Georgia team looks loaded one more time. Elias King, Mulea Sasako are great players, but Jonathan Kuminga, a top 5 sophomore in the nation, and he'll be at the Civic Center.
Yeah, Kuminga, he really blew up this summer. I'm interested in seeing how he fits on a team that is already loaded, like you said. He's 6'8".
Wow.
He's
My
long,
goodness.
super athletic. He can knock down the three at a pretty impressive rate. He's got offers from over 21 schools. Just a couple of them are Maryland, West Virginia, Michigan, Pitt, LSU, Arizona State. I mean, the kid's the real deal.
Yeah, you can see off the video how talented he
right?
is.
Now, another top talent that will be on display in this year's top-ranked player in the state of Ohio, Mr. Rocket Watts. Not only a boss, check out the first name. It's Rocket. So you know this kid can ball out. Now, Watts is committed to play for Tom Izzo at Michigan State. Watts is coming in as a 4-star recruit who gained some interest from Alabama, Cincinnati, UConn, and Florida State. This young man is also the 32nd ranked player in the nation, and he's coming right here to our backyard, guys. Can't get any better. So we're going to see Watts out there on the court against some of these teams, but we're also going to see one of the top schools in our area as well.
That's exactly right. Butch Waller and the Y-High Indians are back after an undefeated regular season, 2-0 in the Gov Challenge last year, but a disappointing end in the playoffs. So they only lost 3 seniors from a year ago. But they bring in one of the more dynamic scorers in the Bayside. There he is, Dorian Stevens from Washington is at Y-High now. He with Jaden Baker should be one of the most dynamic backcourts we've seen in some time in the Bayside. They should be fun to watch. You know I'm an alum, so I'm interested to watch and see if they are gelled by the time the Governor's Challenge comes around. That's one of the interesting aspects we always tend to forget.
So Y-High, undefeated last year, was 2-0 during the Governor's Challenge. Now they pick up one of the best, I guess, free agent point guards
I guess we
here
can call it that,
in the
right?
Bayside. So pretty exciting stuff. And how exciting is this? We're talking about all these games, and now we have to wait 2 months for the tournament to actually begin. However, we've gone through a lot of basketball so far, but there's still so much more to come. Brackets 1 through 7 are coming up your way here on the 2018 Governor's Challenge Selection Show when it returns.
My name is Jaden Baker from Y-High, and you're watching Delmarva Sports Insider.